Let the courting begin. The first talks between National, New Zealand First and Labour, not all three of them obviously, will be held at Parliament tomorrow. There have been a few phone calls in the week or so since the election, but now preliminary discussions will begin. But attention is still firmly on the results of the special votes which come out on Saturday afternoon. We'll have them live here on RNZ, and that's when the final election result will be announced. Our political editor Jane Patterson beams in now from Parliament. Hi Jane, welcome to Checkpoint. How much progress will actually be made tomorrow?
Look, this is really the period where the parties are going to be scoping each other out, talking about the principles by which they're going to negotiate and maybe setting some very broad policy parameters, trying to identify where there might be areas that may cause some problems. It's also going to be quite important for forming the teams. So both Bill English from National and Labour's Jacinda Ardern have both said that they're going to try to structure their teams according to the negotiations with New Zealand First. So if there's leader to leader, then make sure that the leaders of those parties are there, and also the size, the expertise, all of that sort of thing. So really these first steps to be settled tomorrow, but important because we have the specials on Saturday, and then we have a deadline next Thursday, a self-imposed deadline for New Zealand First, so really not a long time at all.
Jane, you have the special results, don't you? Which is the final election results live on RNZ at, I think, 2 o'clock on Saturday afternoon, 1 or 2 o'clock. But how important are they, and why are they so important?
So in this particular election, we've had National with a bigger vote, the majority vote so far with the biggest party, and then we have Labour and the Greens with a combined vote that is still smaller than National. Now, New Zealand First's leader, Winston Peters, has given this particular significance because he has said that he will not start talks in earnest until he knows the results of those votes. Labour also is very cognisant of the fact that if they can get between either them and the Greens an extra vote, which means National potentially, or maybe even New Zealand First could lose a seat, it brings that gap closer together. Now, there's been a lot of talk about the convention or the mandate that a bigger party has under MMP. Under MMP, the rules are the first one to get to 61 wins. That's the rules. Yeah. But there is definitely a sign coming from Winston Peters that he would like to, that there is a balance in terms of who the public voted for, and that is when he will make his decision from there in terms of the talks that will start potentially on Sunday.
Jane, what's been going on behind the scenes in Welly?
So the formation of the teams, as I've just mentioned, but also a very important part of these negotiations is going to be policy and where the parties, National and New Zealand First, and the other bloc potentially New Zealand First, Labour and the Greens, can work together. Now, if there are going to be big issues or big obstacles, that's going to have to be addressed. And one, for example, is National and New Zealand First have a different policy on superannuation, and superannuation very key to New Zealand First's policy manifesto, so that's something they'll have to figure out. Labour and New Zealand First have areas of common in immigration and that sort of thing, but there will be some areas that they're going to have to discuss, and one that Jacinda Ardern talked about today is the minimum wage. They have different goals for that in terms of where they would like it to be. So they've all been scouring each other's policy going into those talks to be prepared to know where Mr Peters or New Zealand First they might line up with, but also where there might have to be some work put in.
Jane Patterson, our political editor, joining us live from the debating chamber at Parliament. Thanks so much, Jane.